I'm Hobin Park, Program Manager of the KOICA Tanzania office. In this video, we will provide some useful information to help you adjust well to Korea. So, you can study hard and come back to Tanzania without any trouble. I'd like to introduce two people who will be hosting this program with me.
Hi everyone, I'm Sayan Park, young professional from KOICA. First of all, congratulations on being selected for the KOICA Master's Program. I'm currently charging all KOICA Fellowship programs for KOICA Tanzania office, including the Master Program. Compared to the last year, there were so many applicants this year, and that made the selection process really competitive. But you all of you watching this video did it.
Hello, I'm Catherine, Project Manager at KOICA Tanzania. I'm also in charge of fellowship programs and projects in KOICA Tanzania. I've been to Korea once and I have great memories of my visit. I'm envious for all of you who will be leaving for Korea.
All three of us work in KOICA for the development of Tanzania and supporting a friendly, cooperative relationship between Korea and Tanzania. So, what exactly is KOICA and what is the role of KOICA?
Okay, let me introduce KOICA. KOICA stands for Korea International Cooperation Agency. KOICA is one of Korea's leading development agencies. Through KOICA, Korea cooperates with and supports the economic and social development of partner countries and contributes to the peace and prosperity of the international community. KOICA manages in 125 countries and operates office in 47 offices across the world. The KOICA office here in Tanzania was established in 2002. KOICA has provided a total of 15.43 million from 1991 to 2020. There have been 22 country-specific projects and 95 global cooperation projects, including public-private cooperation and multilateral cooperation. During this time, 2,420 Korean volunteers were dispatched to Tanzania, and 1,735 Tanzanians were invited to Korea for a change.
Wow, KOICA has supported Tanzania a lot. What kind of project are in progress right now?
We are currently managing 8 country-specific cooperation projects, 13 public-private cooperation projects, and 8 multilateral cooperation projects concentrated in education, health, and gender. Let me introduce our project. The first one is KidKid School, a tablet-based application for primary education. All 3 phases were developed as part of Creative Technology Solutions CTS. Anima created excellent educational software, KidKid School, which is linked to Tanzania public education curriculum. The next one is the project for improvement of healthcare service for the mothers and newborns in Chanika and surrounding area. This project aims to improve the health of mothers and newborns in Chanika, Ilala region, Dar es Salaam, and the surrounding area by building a new maternity ward, supporting medical equipment, dispatching experts, and strengthening the capacity of medical personnel. The next one is Tanzania Health Basket Fund Program. This project supports joint health finance to strengthen the primary health service with the aim of contributing to the improvement of health for Tanzania citizens. Phase 2 will complete it this year and it will enter Phase 3 next year. The last one is World Friend Korea. This is the brand name of Korean volunteer program, and KOICA have dispatched the volunteer across Tanzania to improve Tanzania's quality of life and promote friendship and cooperation between 2 countries. It mainly dispatches volunteers to Dar es Salaam, Arusha, Morogoro, Dodoma, and Zanzibar. And the major sectors supported are education, public administration, and health. Currently, dispatching is temporarily suspended due to coronavirus, but it will resume when the corona situation stabilizes. For now, our volunteers are supporting virtually through online platform. We are calling e-volunteering.
I hope this project will help develop Tanzania and promote cooperative relations between Korea and Tanzania. Now, Catherine, can you tell us about KOICA's class program?
The catalog of KOICA Fellowship Program is called SEER. It means Capacity Improvement and Advancement for Tomorrow. SEET also means seed in Korean. SEET refers to Human Resource Development Projects for public officials, engineers, researchers, and policymakers in developing countries. Through training, SEET program aims to foster talent required for Through training, SEET program aims to foster talent required to lead economic and social development in partner countries. There are 20 scholarship programs selected for Tanzania this year. Every year, about 15 to 20 Tanzanians pass the scholarship programs in Tanzania. And I think many Tanzanians are selected because they are very good in it. They have very good English skills and they are very studious. There are 20 scholarship programs selected for Tanzania this year. Every year, about 15 to 20 Tanzania pass the scholarship program in Tanzania. And I think that many Tanzania are selected because they have good English skills and they are very studious. After participating in the CEAT programs, you will join the alumni. The Koika Alumni Association of Tanzania, which is called CAT, is the homecoming alumni association in Tanzania. Through the alumni association, Koika Tanzania supports alumni to apply what they have learned in Korea to Tanzania. Currently, there are about 1,500 members, many of whom work in government departments, local governments, public institutions, and universities. I hope you have a good time in Korea and come back to Tanzania with the knowledge and skills you need to become a leader who can contribute both socially and economically.
Now I understand what Koika and the role of Koika in Tanzania. So now, let's talk with some of those who study in Korea. First, let me introduce Dr. Sufyan. He majored in international trade and economics in Korea under the KGSP program of the Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He is currently working as a full-time lecturer at the University of Dar es Salaam Business School.
Hello, it's my pleasure to meet you. My name is Robert Sufyan from the University of Dar es Salaam.
Next, we have two scholarship students who have been to Korea with the CEAT program. Let me introduce you to Mr. Musa. He is currently working as a pump and borehole section head in the Ministry of Agriculture, Natural Resources, Livestock and Fisheries.
Hello, I'm Musa. It is great to meet you.
Great to meet you too. And finally, we are also joined by Ms. Unret, who also studied in Korea as a Koika trainee. She is currently working at the Zanzibar Planning Commission in the Human Resource Planning Department.
Hi, I'm Umbra. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. I met Dr. Sufyan last year when Koika Tanzania office funded the Korean Digital Resource Center. Back then, I was so impressed with how fluent your Korean was. So could you tell us about your time in Korea? When did you go and for how long? And what have you been doing since you came to Tanzania?
I stayed in Korea for 5.5 years, almost 6 years. In the year 2012, I was among very few beneficiaries of Korea Government Scholarship Program, which is commonly known as KGSP, and I was offered a scholarship to pursue my doctoral degree in international trade and economics in the Dong Hwa University. And prior to that, I had to attend an intensive and compulsory 1-year Korean language classes. I did it at Kenyon University, which is situated in Daegu City. And after that, I joined the doctoral degree in the university called Dong Hwa University in Busan, which is the port city in Korea, from 2013 to August 2016. And I graduated well, and in October 2016, I joined Hanyang University Institute for Euro-African Studies, IEAS, as a researcher. And there I stayed until December 2017, when I returned back to Tanzania and rejoined the University of Dar es Salaam Business School.
Since you lived in Korea for almost 6 years, your Korean must be quite good.
아니요, 한국어는 어려워요. 하지만 재밌어요.
You speak Korean better than I do. What did you find to be the biggest cultural difference between Tanzania and Korea?
I noticed few of the differences when I compare Korea and Tanzania. Number one is Korea is a very disciplined culture, and Korea society generally, all people, they are very disciplined. People like to follow rules and regulations, and sometimes it's very difficult to be considered differently when you have breached the rules or you have breached the regulations, and it's very hard for them to understand that you have done something which is not acceptable in the society. And number two is the people, they're working very hard in Korea. Korean people are very hardworking, and they are very good at keeping promise and keeping time. And when you have commitment or you need to accomplish something with the Korean, normally they are doing it correctly. And I used to call them people of deadlines. In Korea, someone if want to make a promise or commitment with you, in first place he or she will ask you when is the deadline, so that she or he knows correctly when as to when he can deliver what is required. Something which is not very common in our country. People they like even not to ask you when is the deadline. So I think this is a very big difference I learned in Korea.
Since you are half Korean now, that's why you came history early today. But you must have had a hard time when you first went to Korea due to such cultural differences. So but you overcame those difficulties and earned your doctorate, right? How did your experience in Korea affect your career?
Yeah, first of all, Korean education is very competitive, and I was among the very few people who went to Korea in the early years of Open Korea, and it's very open that the Korean society is very literate, and currently the literacy rate is above 97%, with men above 99% and women above 97%. And I can say education system in Korea, generally call it education is like a fever in Korea. And many graduates who are completing their studies in Korea, they are very open and they are very eager to open up their venture. Instead of waiting to be employed by other organizations. So for me, having studied in this kind of environment, I acquired the skills and the proper tools to run and develop my teaching career. And currently, using this knowledge to teach my university students to be self-reliant as well as to be modern entrepreneur, because the outside market cannot accommodate everyone who is coming from the university.
I agree. Education really is the lifeblood of Korea. I'm glad to hear your time in Korea has supported you in your career. Does any of your current work?
Currently, the University of Dar es Salaam or us, we are collaborating with some institutions in Korea. The first one, we are collaborating with Hanyang University in Seoul, and also we are cooperating with what is called Academy of Korean Studies. Academy of Korean Studies is the one which is sponsoring the Korean Studies Center for 3 years now. And also we are cooperating with other Korean institutions like KOICA, where we are now here, and also KOTRA, that is Korea Trade, and also we are cooperating with the Export-Import Bank of Korea, and also non-governmental organizations of Korea like Good Neighbors and also Global Together.
Yes, I remember last November, the KOICA Tanzania office funded the KOICA Digital Resource Center at the Korean Study Center, KSC. What is the purpose of the KSC and what activity does it support?
Yes, Korean Studies Center, KSC of the University of Dar es Salaam, was established in June 2018, and mainly it was established for sharing, promoting, and also comparing business cultures, particularly between Korea and Tanzania. And the aim is to strengthen the relationship between these two countries. Specifically, our center aims at doing comparative studies. As you remember, some years ago, Korea and Tanzania were almost the same in terms of economy, but now Korean is number 10, I think, in the world. So we have something to learn from Korea. That's why we decided to open up a center where we can learn. And because we have all the experience from Korea, we can now know or investigate areas which we think that we can learn from Korea. And also the center, the Korean Study Center, is currently offering online Korean language classes, and as the Catherine presented, through e-volunteering. So we have a teacher in Seoul currently. So the teacher in Seoul is teaching students at the University of Dar es Salaam Korean language and culture. We have beginner 1 and beginner 2 classes, and they are running very well. Each class is running for 15 weeks, and already we have a total of 35 students who are currently taking the online classes through e-volunteering offered by KOICA.
Yeah, I was in Korea from August 2019 to December 2020. So I spent a total of 17 months in Korea, and I did my master degree in National Development Policy at Seoul National University, Korea, and currently I'm a planning officer. It is a Zanzibar Planning Commission, Department of Human Resource Planning and Development. Yeah, sure. You know, the experience of studying Korea has helped me a lot in my career, since it gives me an outlook in long-term planning toward development, particularly in my working place. For example, the 5 years development plan that I have studied in Korea, it have given me a lot of direction and appreciation toward the development. Also, the Pali Pali style, yeah, the The Palipali Stars have given me insight and motivation to always meet with the deadline. Apart from that, the concept of cooperation and concentration in doing work is another experience that I got, which helped me a lot in my daily work activity. Last, the experience of working hard. Korea work very, very hard. So this experience in Korea has really helped me in carrying out my work back in Zanzibar effectively and efficiently. Yeah, most of the people in Korea, including children, eat by using stick known as chopstick in their daily life. While in Tanzania, of course, we are eating by using our hands. So this was the hardest thing to adapt at first. But it was hard to eat by Korean chop, although when the day went by, I was able to use them. Another thing is Korean eat on time, like to eat vegetables and nutrient food, particularly kimchi. I know you miss kimchi. So I really like those characteristics. And also the talking style. Koreans show great respect to their elders when they speak, and it's quite different to young people. While in Tanzania, I know there is no such kind of difference in language or in speech except for greetings. Another issue is cultural characteristics in Korea. They take off their shoes when they first enter in their house. I really appreciate that character.
Yeah, that's right. Koreans always take off their shoes at home. Yeah. So I take off my shoes here in Tanzania too at my home. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your experience in Korea. Yeah.
Shall we listen to Mr. Musa now? When did you go to Korea and what did you study?
I went to Korea on August 2019. I was there for about 13 months, and I was studied at Hankyong National University for master degree in smart agricultural engineering.
And
I experienced much on cultural practice that is different to Tanzania. I experienced about foods and lifestyle and hospitality of the people. It was difficult to adapt that Korean traditional food at the first time. When you go to the Korea first time, it's difficult to adapt food sometimes. But I tried to be familiar much. Yeah, and I was also shocked there for some of fashion about wearing girls like wearing their clothes. Sometimes it was making me very difficult. I like much their lifestyle. Their lifestyle is so good. Korean people, they like foreigners. They like their neighbors. I like this kind of characteristic. They have a good hospitality, and they have much respect to everyone. This is good. Yes. Now in my home in Tanzania, I'm using much knowledge in my office because as my career is engineering, so I'm using that knowledge that I gave there. I gained from there for designing and supervising for all agricultural engineering. It is also in engineering ethics. So that's much I'm using that knowledge. I gained a lot through the program. I like engineering ethics. Also, in my time in Korea, helped me to arising the community project in collaboration with Korea in many projects in our office in Ministry of Agriculture. We have many projects, so just we collaborating with Korea via Quaker.
Okay, for master's level students who want to study in Korea, one thing I noticed, people they are going there with already they have different ideas and they don't know actually where to focus. So for me, I think they have to study hard and make sure that they focus on their studies as much as they can, because being a master, that means you have to be a master in a specific area, and also it needs specialization in that area. So they have to put necessary effort and concentration in that study area so that they come out as masters in that area. And even at the university, we refer the master's level as the level whereby someone can work or can do much of the task because he or she is already a master in that area. So before and when writing their final dissertations, I normally advise even my students to read more about the areas they want to dwell in, so as they can explore the number of published information and also scholarly articles. They should not dwell in the magazine or the fake news or whatever. They have to go with the very categorized scholarly articles, academic books, and working papers, and the classified academic materials and reports, like reports from the institutions, UNCTAD, OECD, WTO, World Bank, and so that they can have much more information about that area. And lucky enough in Korea, there are many libraries in Korea, and it's very funny, even other libraries aside in the library, you can even find a place to sleep, a place to watch TV. Yeah, there are all kind of digital materials. You can listen to music when you are tired. So I can say the libraries are very equipped, and the students, if they really use the facilities in Korea, definitely they become very good students in the future. So I advise them to study hard and enjoy the facilities already in place in Korea. Yeah, it's very true. And one thing also which is very important is about the many students should know that adapting to a new culture is not an easy thing, and that people they forget, especially when you are living abroad for the first time. Most people go through difficulties and disturbing processes of adjusting or adapting to a new culture, and that's what we call a cultural shock. You are going to find yourself in a very big shock. You used to eat once, but you find that people are eating every time, especially in Korea. You find in Korea, for example, people are drinking so much. Alcohol is everywhere. Yeah, even across universities premises, people they are selling everywhere. And my friends from Zanzibar, for example, most of them are Muslim. It's very difficult for them, especially when it comes to food, because pork is everywhere. So before eating, you have to ask what has gone inside this food. So in terms of food, language, which is also a very big barrier, norms, attitude. For example, in Korea, you cannot stand up before an elder is standing up. So you have to adjust to that. We used to do it in Tanzania some times back, but it has been disappearing slowly. Yeah. So in Korea, it's very common, and you have to observe it. No standing before your elders as a student. And also, sometimes you are in a hurry. You want to go somewhere. Sorry, I want to go somewhere. In Korea, it's very difficult. You have to wait. It's painful, but you have to wait. So adjusting to that kind of life is very, very difficult. So among all those other cultural shocks, I think language is and will be a very initial and important tool to cope with the Korean life. As the moment you know the Korean language, it will be your tool, because you won't afraid to ask, you won't afraid to go anywhere. The country is big, modern technology, modern infrastructure, and it's not that very big deal. I normally, when I study the Korean language in a 1 year complete intensive course, I found out that you need at least 2,000 Korean words to be at least comfortable to live in Korea. Yeah, so Swahili is very simple because it uses ABCD, but Korean is not simple because it uses characters. So you just go 2,000 words or 100, 500, 1,500 words or to 2,000 words. It's okay for you to live comfortably.
For a master's student who are going to study Korea, I will advise they have to be careful in choosing their major in the specific program. When you go to Korean University, you have to choose which major exactly you want to study. So you have to be very careful on that. And also, Korea has very good doctors and professors to supervise you in your research. So it is good for the student to plan ahead of a research topic that you are going to do on that. And also, another important issue is about weather condition. You know, Korean weather and the Tanzania weather is quite different. So you have to be very careful, or you have to prepare yourself. So the students must be mindful of Korean weather and be prepared to adapt.
Yeah, that's right. Ms. Unrad advice on the research topic sounds very useful and important. It's also a good idea to remember that fact about the weather, since all 4 seasons are distinct in Korea, spring, summer, fall, and winter, so you should prepare for all close and hot weather to very cold weather.
Yes, finally, what advice can you offer, Mr. Musa?
Okay, when you are in Korea, you are supposed to be very, very kind and patient, because it is a character also to them. They are very kind. They are very helpful. So when you are going to there, you have to be very kind. And also, it was difficult for me when I was visiting some areas in the cities. It's difficult to ask someone when you lost. So you have to be very, very careful. Also, because country is digitalized, so you have to use your smartphones so to search the network, Naver map, so you can be very easy to live over there.
Example, I'm Jinseok, program manager from KOICA. So far, we've heard stories about life in Korea. I hope the scholars watching this video have a fun and stimulating time in Korea. I think it would be good to learn some simple Korean before our new scholars travel to Korea. Miss Catherine, do you know anything in Korean?
Yes, I know. How to say hello.
How do you say hello in Korean?
안녕하세요.
That's right. When you say hello in Korean, you say 안녕하세요. Then, how do you say I am in Korean?
I think you have to help me with that one.
It's called 저는 blah blah 입니다.
Jonim, Catherine, 입니다.
What about thank you in Korean?
I know this. 감사합니다.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. 감사합니다.
Yes, that's right. And in Korean, instead of how are you, we say nice to meet you.
만나세요. 반갑습니다.
Definitely. When you go to Korean and meet some Koreans, you say 안녕하세요. 만나서 반갑습니다. 저는 서지은입니다. 감사합니다. You can say a short greeting like this. Shall we try, Catherine?
Yes. 안녕하세요. 존세요. 반갑습니다. 카트린입니다. 감사합니다.
Yes, very good.
Thanks.
Now that we learn Korean, let's do a quiz about life in Korea. I'm going to give you 8 questions. Dr. Sufyan, Mr. Musa, Ms. Umran. Could we answer the question together? These questions are related to the KOICA training program regulations, Korean culture, and COVID-19 that those going to Korea must know.
Is it O or X? Please write the correct answer.
Please put up your tablet after writing O or X.
Okay, all you guys write X, and the answer is X. Yeah, orientation and welcoming events are scheduled, and you must participate in courses such as Korean language, Korean culture, and Korean history for at least 6 hours before participating in major classes.
Please put up your tablet.
Okay, all you guys again write X, and the answer is X. Yeah, trainees' family are not allowed to accompany them to Korea. Temporarily, family visits are allowed, but they must be made within a month, and the applicant must pay for the visa and accommodation related to them. However, those who will have the PhD program will be allowed to accompany their families for 6 months after entering Korea, and prior approval from KOICA and university before family members is essential. Okay, you guys all write X again, and the answer is X. Yeah, items are not covered by KOICA answers such as medical examination, medical certification, answer C, and medication for illness such as high blood pressure, diabetes, which are typically conducted by oneself. Yeah, medical products and Dental treatments are also not supported. However, if it is deemed inevitable that support is necessary, should consult the person in charge at Quaker.
So the following is a type of outlet in Korea. Please type the number.
Okay, the correct answer is number 1. Yeah, the plug type F, 60 with voltage hertz. This is different from Tanzania, so make sure you carry the correct type of plugs or adapters to use electronics in Korea.
Shall we do a midterm check? Everyone got 4 answers, right? Please show me the answer.
Okay, all you guys write X, and the answer is X. In Korea, people usually eat other side dishes with rice, and it is not easy to get ugali. So you can take ugali powder if you really need it, but you cannot take agricultural products like plants and seeds. Okay, you guys all write O, and the correct answer is O. Yeah, those who enter Korea from Tanzania will be quarantined in the designated facilities, not be themselves. Long-term foreigners are required to submit negative COVID-19 PCR test results and will be quarantined for 14 days at the facility designated by Korean government. Koika scholars do not have to pay for the quarantine hotel fee. Can you show me the answer? Okay, the first time the different answer, and the correct answer is O. Yeah. To enter South Korea, you must wear a mask. In Korea, wearing masks has been mandatory in public transportation, indoor facilities, and outdoor events where it is difficult to keep a distance more than 2 meters. A fine of 100,000 won, almost 205,000 Tanzania shilling, will be charged for non-wearing a mask. Okay, yeah, you all guys write O, and the correct answer is O. Yeah, sex crimes are very sensitive in Korea, so it's particularly important to remember this while studying in Korea. So if you are sexually harassed or assaulted, please report it immediately, and if you are reported as an assailant, you may be subject to civil or criminal punishment.
That's the end of our quiz. Did you find it useful? Who got the most question right?
Who got the most question is Ms. Umran and Mr. Musa.
They know a lot about Korea. We will give them a Korea gift. I hope it was helpful to learn more about Korea through this show. Now, we are going to watch the interviews of trainees studying Korea.
Yeah, so we had a virtual meeting who are live in Korea.
Shall we watch together?
Nice to meet you guys. Please introduce yourself and...
Okay, kwa jina naitwa Abdalla Bakari Mtavya, ni mwanafunzi wa mwaka wa pili katika chuo kikuu cha Korea University. Nipo hapa chuoni nasomea katika masomo ya science ambayo masomo ya engineering ambayo ni electrical engineering. Nilikuja Korea mwaka 2019 Februari 25. Baada ya kuja Korea nilisoma Kikorea kama Korean language kwa muda wa mwaka mmoja katika chuo cha Sunmoon University. Baada ya kumaliza na kupata nilipata topic 4, nikawa nasoma hapa katika chuo cha Korea University mpaka sasa hivi niko mwaka wa pili. Katika kipindi nilichokuja kutoka Tanzania kuja hapa, nilikutana na changamoto nyingi kwa sababu nilikuwa mgeni, na wajua ukienda nchi za kigeni unakutana na changamoto nyingi mbalimbali. Moja ya changamoto kubwa niliyokutana nayo ilikuwa ni lugha ya Kikorea, na ya pili ilikuwa ni ile culture ya Korea ambao sisi kama Tanzania tuna culture yetu tofauti na ya Korea. Kwa hiyo ilinichukua muda mwingi kuweza kuadapt ile culture ya Korea, kwa kwa sababu nikizungumzia culture nazungumzia vyakula, the way wanavyoishi na mambo mbalimbali. Kwa hiyo katika kipindi nasoma chuo cha language niliweza kujifunza mambo mengi sana, ambapo nilijifunza Kikorea.
Kwa majina naitwa Michael Mjuli, ni mwanafunzi wa mwaka wa pili Korea University, na masomo yangu ni uhandisi wa mitambo, mechanical engineering. Actually, before starting my major, I was doing my language course. I'm also KGSP, so I did a language course for 1 year in Busan, Shilla University in Busan. Just take it as a motivation, and then give yourself a time to study and learn. I think it is possible to know Korean. I think knowing Korean while living in Korea is very, very important, because when you overcome one obstacle, because language barrier is very, very big problem. So when you overcome language barrier, you'll have a lot of Korean friends, even a lot of opportunities as well. So nahisi kujua lugha ni kitu cha muhimu sana. Kwa ukifika Korea, jaribu kujifunza kuongea Kikorea. Na kingine,
nakumbuka anaposema Julius na Michael, nakumbuka rafiki yangu mmoja alisema ukitaka upate, if you want to get even a girlfriend, you have to know Korean first. You cannot talk, so it's very difficult.
Yeah, that's true. Na kitu kingine ni kuhusu culture, Korean culture.
Friends who are going to Korea, they have to adapt everything. You have to adapt with the environment of learning, speed of learning, and everything is in place already. So you don't have a chance to give out excuses, because everything is okay in Korea. So I think that one is also very important to learn. And maybe lastly, I've also remembered one thing. There is this issue of respecting elders. I think my friends Michael and Abel, they can say later, but I found it, some people, they're getting trouble. We say, no, in Tanzania, we're not doing like this. When you see the elder like a professor, they have to respect the elder. That is the culture. So all in all, as Michael said, you have to embrace their culture. Because some people, they refuse. If you refuse, then you create some, as a professor or as a teacher, you create some misunderstandings. So if you don't embrace the culture, you create misunderstandings. And if you create misunderstandings, that means you create a bad living environment, and you create a more difficult living environment. So sometimes, even if you don't like to do something, but just to pretend, if the professor is stood up and give you a glass of alcohol, you just take it and put it on the table.
I actually have one question to Professor Sofian. Yeah, I think it will be helpful to us and our friends who will be coming later this year. What do you really regret right now? Like you never did in Korea?
I tried to do most things, but I think I didn't do much of traveling, and I've never been to Jeju Island. Of all the places I visited and of all the places I lived in, sometimes I dream of Jeju. So I could have gone to Jeju. And also I haven't been to DMZ, is the demilitarized zone. Yeah, so it's true that in terms of we're not only studying, but also we can learn, we can travel. So this is sport areas. Yeah, so maybe next time I'll try my level best to visit. I think that one is something which I regret. Yeah. Those who are going to Korea, if you get leisure time, please.
Yeah, actually, I understand what you are saying, because it's really important to visit some places in Korea, especially when you have time.
When it comes to vacation, I think Koreans, they use their vacation very well.
Very well, yeah, it's true.
Because school time is very hectic.
Yeah.
A lot of things to do. So you have to use well your leisure time, especially vacation time. 감사합니다.
오늘 즐거운 시간 보내는데 기분이 더 좋고 그리고 새로운 친구도 만들었어요.
Thank you, 감사합니다.
Yeah, very nice. 나도 좋은 날이었어요. Kamsamnida.
Through Koika Alumni Association for Tanzania, we normally put a more emphasis on knowledge sharing through seminar, workshops, and different activities. So basically, during the annual Koika Alumni Association annual general meeting, we get a chance to network between different participants of Koika Fellowship Program to share our experience, what we have learned from Korea, and what we are currently do, and what is the way, the better way we can make our association or our alumni association work much better. So basically, knowledge sharing is the most important part of Koika Alumni Association for Tanzania. So I encourage you very much, when you come back from Korea, you make sure that you don't stay with your knowledge, you participate with CART activities so that you share experience with other alumni from different parts of the, with other alumni who gain their programs.
There will be a guitar performance by Koika project manager, Ms. Seo. Okay, please come here, Ms. Seo.
Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni tunakaribisha Tanzania yetu, hakuna matata.
Thank you for watching this video.